Hello, hello. Go ahead. Go
No, go Jill, go Jill. I'm
ahead.
always ready on my mouth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moms in a Huddle where no parents stand alone. I'm Jillian Blackwell. I just happen to be here because I am a mom, a parent, and a wife, actually, of an athlete, former athlete, but I'm a mom of three boys, Mackenzie, Jonathan. Jonathan plays for the University of Wisconsin, Go Badgers. And my oldest son did play sports. So we have always been sports fanatics. And my youngest son, Robert, also play sports at Brother Rice in Michigan. And so that's why we're here. That's why we're Moms in the Huddle. And I am so happy to always share Monday nights with Erica Morgan.
I know. Like, how cool is that? You
It's
got
really good.
Jillian Blackwell, Erica Morgan coming into your either your living room, on your phone, on your Facebook, wherever we're coming in at, we're coming in and we're coming in with a vengeance, okay? Because we
Yeah,
got some things to talk about in this world.
we
But
do.
I am Erica Morgan, the mother of Samaj Morgan. He plays football in his third season at the University of Michigan and Go Blue. And I'm also the mother of Tyler. Tyler is my eldest child. I always say, I know I look 25, but my eldest child is actually 28. He's about to be 28. And so I count it an honor and a privilege to be their mother. And I count it an honor and privilege to be here talking about our journey of being in a huddle, where in the huddle, no parent stands alone. So today, Jill, what we're going to be talking about today is very, very sensitive to some people.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as sports mom, we love talking about what the wins, right? We love being in the stages, we love being in the bleachers or in the court or in the field, but and we love like the scholarships. We love to talk about all the accolades. We love the big moments that our children have. But today, actually, we're talking about the moments where people don't really post about, right?
Mhm.
The questions, the whys, the tears that we shed for or with our children who are playing sports, really the pressure. And I say kids because they're always going to be our kids. My son actually is going to be turning 21 on Christmas. So officially he's a grown man. My oldest son is 23, my youngest son is 18, but they're still always going to be our kids. And so when you think about the pressure that our kids carry that we can't always see, that's the type of conversation we're going to have about mental health today.
Yeah, because when you think about it, mental health is even affecting people in the NFL. It's affecting people in college. It's affecting people in high school. Where I think, Jillian, recently there was a young man that was very, very successful. And
Mhm.
the fact that he was successful in the NFL, but he took his own life recently. We heard about that. So I think that we need to talk about mental health. Mental health is very important. And what I want everyone to understand is we're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to be flashing down here on our screen. I know it give you the title, but I also want to show we're going to be flashing a contact hotline for suicide and crisis lifeline. You can text them, or if you're having any situations or issues that are in cases of an emergency, make sure you contact 911. Mental health is very important, and a lot of people don't talk about it because they think it's taboo. They don't
Yeah.
want to talk about how they're feeling. But one thing we want you to know, as Moms in the Huddle, we're concerned for your athlete's mental health, your mental health, and even the person's mental health that may be working next to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, because we may talk about depression or loss or suicidal thoughts, we want to, at any point where you feel like this is heavy, please take a break. Just shut us off. We will not be offended. Your mental health and your peace of mind is number one priority. So, again, one of the things that we want to talk about is how do you, as a parent, speak into your child's life? How do you give them the information that they have so they can take the pressure off? How do you provide them resources that they need within the school, outside of the school, so they can be on a place of healing and a place that they feel as though they can talk to you and others about what's going on in their heart. So I'm excited about the conversation that we're having. And again, one of the things that we talk about, we're not experts, right?
No, we're just experienced. So a lot of our parents, we have the experience and understanding who the athletes that we're dealing with, how our child is, how they behave, maybe some of the things that they're struggling with. But what people don't realize is when you're talking about mental health, it's just a term that's used. But
Yeah.
what does it really mean? That's one of the reasons we're going to bring an expert in to talk to us today.
Yes.
Share this with your loved ones to let you know that you are not alone. I know for myself, we'll hear in our talk, we'll talk to our kids and we'll say, "How was your day?" And what do they say? It's good. Sometimes they don't share everything, but sometimes that good can mean it really didn't go the way I wanted it to go, or that good can mean it really was a good day. So how do you be able to decipher which one is something that may send them off on the deep end, or where you can kind of come in and help them? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about mental health today.
And so, like I said, we're moms, we're not experts, but we are joining us tonight is Dr. Sabrina Jackson, who is an expert. She's a licensed therapist, she's a speaker, she's an expert in emotional intelligence, and she has walked with so many people through grief, through trauma, mental health struggles. I just want to briefly read her bio. She's a motivational speaker. She's a thought leader. She's a global influencer. First of all, she's a friend of mine too. But she is known as the people expert. Dr. Sabrina Jackson is celebrated for helping people better understand and connect with others, including themselves. A
Mm,
licensed clinical therapist, she counsels, she educates, and she mentors with dignity, with empathy, and with deep understanding
yeah.
that's shaped by both professional training and personal resilience. Having faced profound personal tragedies, Dr. Jackson draws on her own journey to guide clients through trauma toward healing. She is a sought after public speaker. She engages audience worldwide, and I've been in the many rooms and many spaces where she captivates audiences with her insights, her humor, and her wisdom. Corporations regularly call on her to lead diversity, equity, inclusion training. She is the author of several books, including From Trauma to Triumph, and he is not a statistic. She's talking about her son, Marcel, who we absolutely love. So in
Mm,
media, Dr. Jackson serves as a weekly contributor to Fox 2 Detroit's Mental Health Monday. Hey, and
wow.
she hosts Speaking Life with Dr. Sabrina, a podcast dedicated to breaking the stigma surrounding mental health. So, will you please, moms in the huddle and those who are listening, join me in having Dr. Sabrina Jackson join us for Moms in the Huddle as we talk about mental health. And our subject is when the jersey or when the uniform becomes heavy. What do we
Yes.
do when all the things that we're coming? It's supposed to be fun, but now it's heavy. And so, Dr. Sabrina, thank you so much for coming back to Moms in the House. This is her second time being with us. We're so glad you're here with us, and we just want to start off. I'm going to actually pass it to Erica. We're going to start with some general questions. So we did the intro, and we're going to dive right in.
Well, one of my first question is, as the people's expert, what do you think are the kinds of pressures that a lot of our student athletes are facing today? Whether it's with their parents or experiencing social media, NIL deals, scholarship expectations. What do you think is one of the major factors that they're experiencing concerning their mental health?
I think that it's moving in the athletic space. It's moving from just playing
Mm,
to a place of performance, to where the performance is attached to money, and then you have guilt that comes up when you feel like your performance isn't matching the money that they've offered you, or the money that they're paying you, and those things are happening younger and younger and younger, and so they may not even have the mental capacity to hold all of that responsibility, and they don't know how. So we find that you have many athletes who are in professional settings and don't know how to handle just the pressure that comes with being on stage. Some people
yeah.
may be introverted, but they skilled. And when you're introverted and you come out and it's 20,000 people, you got to deal with that anxiety. And then the coach may just be pressing, and not really looking at what does this particular player need. And so I have been called in to work with teams around suicidal ideations, around depression, around grief, and things of that nature, even to the point of an animal. If a player has an animal and the animal passes, That's devastating if someone has had that animal all their life and now they're gone. But I'm this big athlete and I'm supposed to just suck it up. It's not that easy. So
Yeah.
it's so many different issues. But let me say this. I think that most people are struggling with some type of mental challenge since the pandemic. The pandemic has caused a tsunami of
Mm.
new diagnosis of depression and
Mhm.
new diagnosis of anxiety. There are 56 million new diagnoses of depression and 76 million new diagnoses of anxiety. Now,
Wow.
let me say this. Although those are numbers, I think they're low. Because I think that people that look like us, I think that people who are the first responders, I think that people who are athletes ain't in that number.
Oh, wow.
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 Wow. Yeah, I would agree. I think about I was just talking to my husband who we were flying and my husband played basketball overseas. He's traveled the world and just recently he started dealing with challenges about flying.
Mhm.
And that
Mm.
came after the pandemic. And so you're absolutely correct. And I think sometimes we'll try to shake it up, man. You get your act together, you know. And it comes from a place of fear, right?
Yeah.
I think he said he was watching some channel, and I'm like, and again, he really hadn't shared that with me. I just happened to see him over there praying down to heaven. I'm like, what's going on with you? And so you're absolutely correct. We don't really talk about it within our community, but I'm glad he was able to share that. But I do have a question for you when you talked about students deal with a lot, right? They have to be performative. They may
Yeah.
be introverted and they got to come out and perform. And coaches looking at the X's and the O's and not necessarily the individual. But one of the things that we talk about that they're student athletes. So yes, they have to perform, but they got to be mindful of I gotta go to class. I'm not doing well in that class. They might be in a relationship, right? They dating. They
Ooh.
might be dealing with, something, a challenge with a professor, all those things. And then they still got to perform on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday.
Mm.
And let me add, and all of that is true, but let's add another caveat that it used to be about practice and things of that nature, and now it's about posting. It's about how many likes you get. It's
Yeah.
about who's taking a picture. So you may be in practice and you didn't have a good practice, but now it's all on social media.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
Oof.
I always say social media has caused us to become less social.
Wow.
We don't
Mhm.
know how to socialize. We don't know how to talk to each other. Remember the days of meeting a person, looking them in their eye and shaking their hands? People don't do that.
Mm-mm.
No.
I get so tired of the fist bump, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I understand it because I was one who had COVID, and I understand why people do it, but we have gotten away from just the human connection that we need.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that piece about being vulnerable, what you were talking about your husband, is that men tend to not want to be vulnerable because they equate that with weakness.
Yeah.
Mm.
So one
Yeah.
of the things that I talk about is the benefits of crying.
Mm.
Crying has benefits.
Mm.
It cleanses. There's a cleansing that occurs when you cry.
Yeah.
There are emotions that are released when you cry. And
Yeah.
so I was talking with Ryan Armani on Fox, and he said, well, isn't that just for women? And
Mm.
I said,
Who
if
does?
God didn't want men to cry, they wouldn't have tear ducts,
Right.
but they do.
But
So
they do.
because they do, they can cry as well. So we have to get to a place that is safe
Mm,
for our young people, especially our athletes, to have a safe place to just let it all go.
that's good.
Mm. And
That's
I
good.
think that, even talking about mental health, I remember working with a guy, this was years and years ago. And I'm trying to understand the signs of when you know someone is really struggling and they're really at the level of, I cannot be here anymore. This
Hmm.
guy was an amazing guy. He would take our cars to get gassed up when I worked with the state. He would come in as one of the happiest guys. He would bring different food. He would talk with us. And then one day I come to work to find out that he had took his life. I was flabbergasted. I was like blown back at the fact of how come I didn't see the signs when I was around him, right? So that's what I think that the way that people hide things, and sometimes our athletes can be that way, sometimes our kids, sometimes we could be that way, not knowing that there's a silent cry. Where do we, as people on the outside, try to help individuals?
Well, this is the thing, and this is important because we have a thing called functional depression. And these are people who are functional. They show up in the world, they do amazing things. So you shared earlier about the football player who was from Michigan, actually, that committed suicide. Then we look at people who've been actresses and host on shows and get off the TV and having what we would see on the outside looking in as an amazing life because they're making great money. People are clamoring for them. And so we think and we put that in a space of, oh, they got to be good. But sometimes when you're popular, it ain't good. Like, I don't know if you all watched the movie Rocket Man. Rocket Man was about Elton John. And the thing that I loved about this movie is that it really showed how once he got so big that everybody around him ate because he did what he did. So when he wanted to take a break, they didn't care. They wanted to prop him up on stage because that's how this machine works.
Yeah.
And so when you start thinking about these athletes and you start thinking about the boosters and the alumni, that's what makes this machine work. And they are pushed, pushed, and pushed.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to ask that question. When you think about sports performance, it's tangled up with a person's identity.
Yeah.
Like we have had in our family, obviously Reggie played football. Keith McKenzie played in the NFL. My husband played basketball. So you can see, you celebrate it in the midst of it, that's a part of your identity. But what happens when you can't start, you got an injury, you have a bad game, whatever happens to you, it's so tangled up. And these were grown men. I'm just talking about now. Let's bring it down to the youth.
Yeah.
That's all you know since the fourth grade, that this person is a football player, this person is a basketball player, and then something happens. Could be an injury, could be anything. It could be a number of games that just didn't perform. My husband has to remind me, you're not gonna be 100% all the time.
Never. So, you're never going to be 100% all the time. But let me say this. I think it's really important, especially because we're talking to parents.
Yes.
As parents, we can't get so locked into that piece of them as the only piece of them. Because I know parents that will push, 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 and push their children and not focus on making them a well-rounded person. Because sports is just one part of your life. What are you doing to have fun? What are you doing that's going to build your culture? What are you doing that's going to build your intellect? What things are you doing? And as parents, you should have, and I used to tell you this, Jill, all the time, it's so important to stay 2 steps ahead of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why I'm the parent. So I remember when my son was in, I think, middle school, and every summer I would have a book list for him to read. He had to read books, and I got to choose the books. So I remember the summer he read The Character of a Man by Sidney Poitier. That changed his life.
That's good.
And so it's so important that as the parent, you give them other avenues to be exposed to. Because I remember when my son said to me, because he had a very successful basketball career. He really did. But he decided one day, I want to learn more about basketball than just playing.
Yeah.
because there's more to basketball than just playing. Just
Yeah.
like it's more to tennis, there's more to golf, there's more to anything. And so we started to look at the whole thing about the business
Yeah.
of that particular sport. And so I remember him doing a paper about the material that basketballs were made of.
Hmm.
Mm.
Somebody making good money on the
Yes.
basketball, okay?
Every day.
They are. And I will say, when it comes down to even what you just said about, I think that I told my son, I remember telling my son one time, if you live by the fans of the people, you're going to die by the fans of the people.
Yeah.
So what happens is, I think that the people in general will pump up a lot of these players or a lot of these athletes. They'll deify them. And then we're sitting up here. And what happens is this: as you listen to a lot of what people say and what people do, when when the athlete disappoint them on what they think is a disappointment, then the athlete begins to feel a certain way. Now the people are not receiving me the way that they used to. That's why you have to be built, like you just said, Dr. Sabrina, on something different than just the fans or just the applause, because when it does go down, then people will be trying to get their next rise. How do I get the next rise? How do I get the next thing? Like a lot of the actors do, or stars. They'll say, you're washed up, right? They don't want to be washed up.
Right.
So I think that when we're talking about mental health, I'm wondering, Dr. Sabrina, if how can we get people to be real about this thing, to talk about it? Like we're talking about it, but
It's
people
so
don't want to.
interesting. I really believe that a lot of our young people are totally different than we were. And
Mhm.
the stigma around talking is not the same
Yeah.
because it has made it to the mainstream. And so you have movies, you have cartoons, you
Mm.
have all these things that young people watch growing up that has a space for talking. The greatest example that I have, I remember The Shy. The Shy is a show that comes on about Chicago. It's been on for several seasons, but they began to introduce a men's group, and
Mhm.
the men were very different. They had different lifestyles, but they came together and it was a safe space and they would talk about whatever was going on. And one of the things that I loved, because none of them were therapists, they was just talking. And then once the person finished talking, one of the other guys would say, well, is there anything that we can do to help you with that?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That sounds simplistic, but it goes a long way.
Yes.
And so, one of the things I think we have to do is to remind people, especially our young people, that you were not created to be independent. You
Yes.
weren't created to do everything by yourself.
Right.
You absolutely were created to be interdependent. So you need other people. You need your parents. You need your teammates. You need them. And so, how you talk to them, how you treat them, how you show up for them allows you the space to know that somebody can show up for you. And so, I remember years ago, so many years ago, because my son is 32 now. He'll be 33 in January. But I remember he was in college, and we went on a college game. We traveled to Hawaii, and when I got there, there was another mother who was just staring at me, and I was like, "Oh, hi." And she said, "You're Marcel's mother?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Oh my God." She said, "Thank you so much. You raised an incredible son." I says, "Thank you." And she shared with me that her son had an asthma attack while they were on one of their trips,
Mm.
and he had to go to the hospital, and the mother couldn't get there. And so Marcel stayed with him in the hospital and every hour called the mother to give her an update.
Oh, wow.
Now the thing that's just how Marcel is. But the thing that really blew me back is that he never said a word to me about it.
Mm.
Wow.
And me and Marcel are very, very close. And so I says, Marcel, you didn't even tell me about that. He says, I didn't do it to tell nobody. I did it because
That's who I am.
that's who I am. That's what I'm going to do. And
Yeah.
so I think that helping our young people develop a strong sense of self, a
Hmm.
strong sense of this is who I am. I ask my son all the time, who do you say you are?
Hmm.
Who do you want people to know you as?
Right.
Not who I say you are. Who do you say you are? And then I'm a Christian, so he'll say I'm a Christian. I said, well, okay, you say you a Christian. I don't say you a Christian. That's what you say. And if that's what you say, are you living it?
That's
And
good.
what does it mean to live it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people think that, well, if I say that, that means I don't never have no fun.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it don't mean that.
Or never have no
I
problem.
laugh more than the average person. I really do.
Yeah.
That right there.
Or never have any problems.
That's it.
Oh my goodness.
That
Yes.
part right there. That part right there. So Dr. Sabrina, so like I said, I've been knowing you for a while. I had the opportunity to sit back and watch you raise your children. You have given me some valuable advice. My sons are a little bit younger than Marcel, and I took that advice and I have benefited from it, right? But I've missed it sometimes, right? You are a trained therapist. I am not. I'm a mama. And so sometimes our
I'm a
instinct,
mama.
yeah, you're a mama, but you also a trained therapist.
But
So
that turns off when the mama bear comes up.
okay,
That don't.
okay,
Yes,
but
it does. You're right.
I think, and I'm just going to be transparent because we are moms in the huddle. I think sometimes our natural instinct is to fix it, try to fix the problem, or if we're not trying to fix it, because I could pick any one of the names, Mackenzie, Jonathan, or Robert. One be fixed, another one is I'm going to lecture you. So I
Mm.
might just say, you're going to be fine, shake it off. Or then I might be, how can I fix it? So as a therapist and a mom, you wearing both hats, what's
Yes.
a healthier first response when our
The,
child is hurting after a game?
the first response is to ask,
Mm, okay.
how can I help you? Is
Mhm.
there anything I can do to help you? Do you want, because sometimes they may just want to sit silently, but they want you to sit there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so sometimes we have a problem with the pregnant pause.
Yeah.
We can't just sit quietly. If we sitting quietly, we feel uncomfortable. Say, well, can you just tell me? No,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk. I just want you to sit here with me.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it may be an issue that you want to go and fix,
Yes.
especially when they get to be those late teens, early adulthood, because they have to start
Woo.
to make the decisions on what they are going to do and how they're going to do it. So I
Yeah.
shared this story, and I know Jill knows this, but when Marcel was in high school, my father passed. And when my father was in hospice, Marcel's team was in the state championships. So one night they had practice, and Marcel decided not to go because he didn't know if his grandfather was going to pass that night. And the next day, his coach ripped him a new one and said, I don't care who dying. Well, sir, I'm on my way. What? I had my purse and my keys because I'm on
Right.
my way.
Right.
And my son said something very profound to me. He said, Ma, you can go up there and you can tell him off. However, when you leave, I still got to deal with him.
Right.
So you have
And
to
he said,
allow
I'm sorry.
me,
And he said that at what age?
17.
Yes.
17. And so he
Right.
said, no, let me deal with it. I'll deal with it. And he was always respectful. And they did go ahead and win the state championship that
Oh.
year.
Uh-huh.
And my father did pass, and then my brother passed. So that was just a tough time for
Yeah.
our family. But Marcel was so present.
Yeah.
He just was present, and he prays. And so he said that he prayed, and that summer he came home one day after school and said, prayer really does work. And I said, what do you mean? He says, my coach got a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we want to fight a battle, and it ain't our battle to fight.
Listen,
Oh, that's it right there.
that's
And
it.
so I tell people this, especially as parents, it's a difference. You have to learn how to be an advocate and not an adversary.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So when I am advocating, I don't have to be loud because the loudest voice is not necessarily the one that gets heard
That's
or
right.
gets respect. And so I can assert myself and still be respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always say you get much more with sugar than you do with boo boo. Because who wants to spread boo boo over anything? Nobody.
No.
So it's so important that we learn that because I know that as parents, we he ain't played. Well, you not the coach.
That's right.
I used to tell my son's coach, I don't get in your lane about how you coach.
That's
Don't
right.
come over in my lane about how I parent.
Yeah.
That's true. And
And
I
if
think
I felt like there was something that Marcel needed to miss or that he was dealing with, we work together. And so it's a partnership. And how do you develop that partnership is so important now when we do have all of these issues that young people come with because social media puts things out there so fast
Yes.
before you know it is out and then you're dealing with it on the back and you're dealing with the back end of it. You couldn't be proactive. You are can't be anything but reactive. So
Mhm.
yeah. And I think that as mothers or as parents, we are trying to learn how to transition from them being a child to an adult and to understand how this thing called life is really gonna life for them. And what
Yes.
Jill was saying, I feel that as parents, and if you're a parent like I myself or Jill, we can appear to be helicopter moms. We can appear to say, "Hey, what's going on?" And here's the thing: I don't care, and I don't have to be a licensed therapist or a doctor to know intuitively when something is wrong with one of my children.
Yes.
Both of my children, it's like an inside of which is the Holy Spirit. That's how I'm going to give credit to. But there is it's a connection that you have with
Yes.
your child when you know something is wrong with them.
Yes.
And that's the hard part, knowing how to let go and let God over their life without you feeling like you have to interfere. And that's one of the things I just learned, to be honest with you, Dr. Sabrina, last year. God set me down and pretty much told me, don't you know I've been guiding before you even came?
Ooh.
He,
well that is so true.
and I'm learning. So
Yep.
how do we let go when we know they're dealing with mental health issues? They're dealing with some things. We want to help them through it, but they don't want to open up to us.
Well, this is the thing, and this is very important. It's actually a part in my book. So, in my book, it's called He's Not a Statistic 12 Laws for Single Mothers Raising Black Males.
Mm,
And in the book, I give you 12 different tips. But the last chapter is called A Baker's Dozen. Because whenever you get a baker's dozen, you get extra. And
Yeah.
so that chapter, I talk about dealing with the transition from childhood to adulthood. And
mm,
one of the things that I say is that we must learn how to move from being the supervisor of their life to the supporter of their
Mm.
life. And
yeah,
so knowing in your mind that I can't tell you what to do, I can give you, and this is ask good questions.
Yeah.
mhm,
Asking good questions help them to get to their own decision.
that's true.
But if we just telling, no, I think you should do this, and I know you, and you came out of me, and because you came out of me, I know. No, because you don't want to coddle them to the point, especially with these boys, you don't want to coddle them to the point that they ain't good to be a man.
That's
Oh, so
Because
I'm
you haven't
sorry. I'm
allowed them
sorry.
to.
Can you say that to the people in the back? I need you.
right.
You don't want to coddle them to the point that they are not going to be a good man.
That's
Right.
true.
So
Yeah.
Marcel, when he was 17 and he said that to me, he says, Ma, I have to live this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't live it. And the other thing is that because we are believers, we understand that our children came through us.
that's right.
They still belong to him. And you don't want to be the parent that's in the way of what God is trying to do for them, to teach them, to build character, to do all of those things because we had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that I've been through that make me a better me.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And that you
And
don't.
they have to have their same walk too.
And I think that that's what happens when we thinking that we're trying to help them when they're going through their mental health things. We think that we're helping. Sometimes we can be hindering because we're sitting up here trying to get in God's way. God, like, oh, you really think you're going to get in my way or what I'm trying to teach them? And that's the problem. Yeah, as moms, we are really trying to do it. Let me make sure I'm showing. If you have any mental health issues, anyone that's listening to us, we are going to show a scrolling a suicide crisis lifeline or text or a counselor, or if it's an emergency, make sure you contact emergency, which is 911.
Let me say this. Can I just add that in Michigan, we have a 3-digit number for crisis, and it's 988.
Yep, that's what's flashing right down here, Dr. Sabrina.
Yeah, I can't see, I can't see on them little bitty things. I'm sorry.
Yep, we have that number. And
Yeah,
if
988, and that is for the state of Michigan. So that's local for you. They'll get you to somebody local, because some of the other 800 numbers are national numbers, and then people feel like they don't feel connected with their community.
yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah. So Sabrina, so I want to shift a second. So we've talked about student athletes, whether they are in the home with us now or they're away at school. So I want to talk about like building a culture or a safe space where our children, young adults, elementary, middle school, high school, college, um, know that they can be honest about not being okay without feeling like they're letting us down. Oftentimes our children, as they get older, or if they, actually, Eric and I talked about this earlier, where our children have seen that we've invested in them, right? That we've done all this without us saying it. They see, right? You talked about they watch stuff, and so they don't want to let us down, whether they're high school, middle school, or college. So how do we create an environment or a space that they know it's okay to say you're okay and stop? I had to tell my son this, my middle son, stop worrying about me and Glenn. We're good over here. Just live your life, because that's the nature of my middle son. He's always look like you losing weight. You okay, boy? Go dribble the basketball.
Well, I think that one of the things that I would advise is that having open communication where it's not just them talking about what's going on with them, but you can be transparent too.
Yeah.
Because just because you're a parent don't mean you're not human.
Yes.
So my son and I used to have these dates. We would go on a date, we would go out to eat, and I could ask him one question, whatever I wanted to, and he had to answer. And then he got to ask me one question,
Oh,
and
wow.
I had to answer.
Hmm.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my, right.
But it's necessary, because I will say this, my son is 32, and he can tell me anything, and vice versa,
Yeah, that's good.
because I've opened up the space and I made it comfortable, and I was transparent
That's good. That's good.
about what's going on with me, or when I'm not okay. I remember Marcel said to me, Jill knows that I like this. I love potato chips with cream cheese. It just sounds weird, but it's so good to me.
I eat that. I do that
Oh my
too.
God. Oh
And
my God, I
Reese's
love it.
peanut butter. I thought you were going to say Reese's peanut butter
I
cup.
love Reese peanut butter cups too. But my son said to me once, he said, "Oh, you must be depressed." And I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "Because you're eating potato chips and cream cheese. And potato chips and cream cheese, even though I like them, they're emotional eating food for me." And he knew it.
Wow. Yeah,
And so I think that the very thing that we say we want them to do, we
we
got
should
to be willing to do it too.
do. That's good. I remember I had told my oldest son this. My oldest son is more direct, sarcastic, not really cared about your feelings. And so I
He
had to
agreed. He
I,
agreed.
yeah, straight up. And I said, "You do know that I'm a girl, right?" I said, "I'm a girl. You gotta be like, you gotta be so." Well, I think one time he was taking me to the airport and I was dealing with something. "Mama, you could have told me you had get." I said, "Would you be soft?" I need soft conversation right now. And so
Ooh,
you're right, we have to be transparent with our boys and our girls as well.
Yes, because
yeah. I like
a lot of things are not gender specific. They're
Yeah,
just personality specific.
absolutely.
And
That's
so you do need to know how your child is wired, because if you talk to them in their language, you'll get much more out of them when you understand, because a lot of times they're not like us.
yeah,
They're not. I'm a people person myself. Be like, I don't be caring about all of that.
yeah.
So I had to learn not to take things personally.
yeah.
I had to learn how to not have my facial expression look all toe up when I'm tripping. Because, like, when I had the question and answer period, I asked him a question, and I was really just joking, but then he answered the question, and it wasn't funny no more. It
You-
wasn't funny no more. Then I was like, oh my Lord, oh my G, okay, woo, okay. I had to get myself together because I know my facial expression was looking like, whose child are you? Who raised you? But we also have to know that their influences are not just
Mm,
in your home.
that's good.
Yeah. I mean,
Not.
I will say one of the things that I've learned as a mom, even with my son, he was more willing, when I talk about my youngest, he was more willing to talk when he went through pressure.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Life. Like pressures of life opens him up. My
Okay.
oldest son, when he's just regular, he'll talk to me anyway, but it came with maturity because he's 28. He's going to be 28. So his maturity level began to say, Ma, and we began to talk more about things in life versus the younger. But the pressures of life is, I believe, can open up some kids. Like a lot of people don't know, and Samaj talks about it, and he's actually in the process of wanting to talk to younger kids about dealing with diagnoses like ADHD. For a lot of kids that have the diagnosis of ADHD, I had to learn how to raise him and Tyler differently. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't fuss at Samaj as because any tone that was heightened meant that I was fussing at him. Or any tone that may have made him feel like I'm in trouble, I was fussing at him. The
mm,
doctor actually told me when he was younger, I remember Dr. Boone, he said, listen, you're expecting your kid to act as if he said, let me give you the best example when you're dealing with a kid with ADHD. See, that's another thing that parents don't know that they're dealing with when kids have mental health disorders. But my son has rose over it, thank God. Both of them have. But I had to learn how to mother them. The doctor told me one time, he said, imagine yourself in a wheelchair and you're not able to walk. And a person comes up to you and say, get up, you can walk. Don't
wow.
you know you can walk? And you're telling this person to get up and walk. He said, that's the same thing that happens with your child. He
That's
said,
good.
you're expecting him to get up and walk when there's not enough serotonin getting to the frontal lobe of his brain to wire it at this time so that he can logically think about things. So I had to learn how to uh, parent a kid with ADHD and ADD because my oldest have ADD, and then Samaj has ADHD, and with something we're not ashamed to talk about. He knows it, but the thing with it is learning how to communicate with people that may have a disorder attached to them. Dr. Sabrina, how do we navigate that as a parent and be successful in it and help other people be successful in navigating that?
Well, I think that what you said was so profound and so good, but I want to take it down to an even more simplistic level. You have to learn how to parent each child, because each child is different.
They
Yeah.
are.
So they may not have a mental health disorder or a mental health challenge, but you didn't get a manual on how to raise them.
Yeah.
And with these things they call cell phones and iPads and all of those things, and people just being so focused on digital
Yeah.
existence, that has made kids crazy.
It has.
That I have seen in the juvenile justice system, the number one reason why kids are going in is because they are being told by their parents to give up their devices, and they lose it
Yeah.
because they're addicted. So I think it's important that as a parent, you understand that you don't know it all.
Yeah.
Two, that you do need assistance and help. 3, that you can take a parenting class, and that don't mean that you're not a good parent. It means that you're getting tools to put in your toolkit.
Yeah.
And so I know for me, I spend a lot of time teaching people about personality types and the character type. And so if you know what you're working with, then you
Yeah.
know how to work it. So there's 4 basic types of people. There's blue people. They love people and they wear their feelings on their sleeves. So they're emotional. They can seem a little soft, but they're sensitive in nature. And then there's gold personalities. Those are the structured, dependable, like the rules, like the order, gonna get the task done first.
That's
Then there's
Erika. That's
Are you
Erika.
at me, Jill?
You go, baby.
You go ahead, Sabrina.
Then there's the green personality, and the green personality is your intellectual person. And because they're intellectual, they don't generally have emotions. So they don't, like when she was talking about her oldest son and how he need to be more soft. He ain't thinking about that.
No,
He's thinking about that don't logically make sense. So just make it make sense.
that's all him.
That's all him. And
Yeah.
then the last is orange. And orange children are the rule breakers and risk takers. They're charming, they're witty, they're the life of the party. The party don't get started till they show up. But it's important to understand out of the 4, oranges get the bad rap, and they get the bad rap because they will break a rule on purpose. However, out of the 4, they handle crisis the best because in the midst of a crisis is when they turn on. A blue in the crisis, we got to calm them down because they're emotional. A gold in the crisis, we got to give them paper and pen so they can make a list so they can check it off. And and a green in the crisis, we might not find them because they someplace reading or playing by themselves. But in the meantime, the house really is on fire. We need our oranges. So it's important for one, you to understand how you're wired,
Yeah.
and then how to deal with your child who's wired differently, whether they have a challenge or not. Because at their core, that is just how the 4 are wired.
I just want to first off say, Jill and my best friend, how y'all gonna categorize me in the
Come on,
gold?
Tasha, we
Tasha,
know what we're talking about.
Ma'am, I don't even know you, and I know you a gold.
I am. And you know when you explain that one.
I think she's gold and green. She's gold and green.
That
Yeah.
means she's super serious because a gold green combination are
That's her.
serious. Because the gold wants to follow the rules and make the rules. They like rules. They like them so much they want to make them. And after they make them, they want to enforce them. But then the green is intellectual. So they're always coming up with new ways of doing things. And they don't like people getting emotional. So I always say this, if you're dealing with a green personality, never say the word feeling. Because if you say, I was feeling, that's going to shut them down because the word feeling to them means you're being irrational. So you can say the same thing, but just use the word thinking. If you say, I was thinking, it's going to open them up. Feeling is going to close them down. So it's just important to understand one, that we all have all 4 colors in us, all 4 types in us. They're just at different levels. So once you understand where you are right now, that's where the work begins. Because whatever you're high in, you need to bring that down. And whatever you low in, you need to bring that up. Because the more balanced you are, the more blended you are, the better you are at navigating all your relationships and not the ones that's the easiest for you.
I love
Plus, God tells us, don't we say to God, Lord, empty out my cup so that you could use me up? But are you saying use the primary color in me?
it.
Or are you saying use all of me? So
Yeah.
when you get stuck in your primary color, you're walking in flesh, and flesh is forever letting ego supersede holiness. God's trying to use all of you and
Would you say
not just
that
the.
again? What did you say? The flesh is forever letting ego
Supersede
supersede.
holiness.
You need to patent that.
I did. It's mine.
Because here's the thing. You got got the people in the comments are going crazy, Dr. Sabrina. Oh my God.
Are they?
They are going crazy. They're saying you're good out the net. Tasha is saying, woo. Oh my goodness. She's saying this is good, Dr. Sabrina.
Yeah.
And if people on here want to find out what their color is, they can go to my website, sabrinajackson.com, and push essential color. You can take the test there for free.
Wow. And we're also going to put on here, if you want to contact Dr. Sabrina for any referrals or any speaking engagements, this is her number directly to where you're able to get in contact with her. You're able to, as you see, we love her. We're going over in time talking with her. When you went on that,
we over in time. How much time we were supposed to have?
Well, we go over all the time.
We go
okay.
But we do 45. We're trying to get better with doing the 45 minutes. But here's what happens. Our guests take us to a next level like you did. When you got on that color thing, and I think when you start seeing yourself in that, people start saying, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. Jill was able to point me out. I was because me and Jill work balanced together, right? But we're on two different spectrums.
Oh, yeah, but Jill has been trained.
Yes.
She's been trained by the best. Because the chief doer, Miss Renee Wallace, is the goldest gold of them all.
And what's interesting, the way that God works is that he'll bring the people into your life that balances you off. My husband is all blue.
So blue.
So blue. When Dr. Sabrina talked about men have tear ducts, my husband, there would be times he'd cry, and I was like, Lord, do I love you as much as Glenn do? Because I ain't crying like that. But when the aha moment that I had, I think it might have been 2000, I can't remember the year, that so blessed me when I understood who I was from the color perspective, my personality, and then I knew who was in my house. I knew Mackenzie, even at a young age, that he was green, because he was gravitating towards books and dissecting us and intellectual. Jonathan is me, personality. Robert is kind of a mix up. But when you understand, going back to our conversation that we're having, how do you create a culture? It goes back to understanding the personality of the people. So Mackenzie may not be as open to if he's struggling with something because he's in his head.
Yep.
Jonathan, he might talk about it for a minute, but then he like, I'm grown. I can figure this out.
But
I think the other thing is when you know what color you're dealing with, then there's things specifically that speaks to them that opens them up. So with your green child, because they're intellectual, you may not even have to have a conversation. You may find something that has some data or some research and says, I was reading this here, look at this. And they go, what? Some information?
Yes.
What? Okay. They love it. And then for the gold personality, when they're struggling, when they're going through, they need to know what's the task that I'm going to need to do to get there.
Absolutely.
Give me the 7 steps.
Here's the thing. When you're talking, and I'm going to get off the kids, but for me, I am very serious. So I know I am gold. I'm a little of all 4, but my dominant one is that gold. It's like, we have to accomplish something. We're going to get it done. And if you can't get it done, I got it. I'm not
okay. So let me help you, gold.
Yes. Help me.
Let me help you. Because the thing about golds come across to other people as controlling. Because what you just said is that if you can't do it, I'm going to jump in and do it. Then no, ma'am, because what we don't allow is that there's diversity in style. And so there's something that's called being a pressure prompted person. A pressure prompted person, it looks like they're procrastinating because it seems like they're waiting to the last minute to do something. However, it is the pressure of the deadline that prompts the idea. But for gold people, y'all need to know, y'all want to know this what time it's supposed to be. This was we supposed to be there. I'm supposed to read this by this day. They got a list for the list. They have a meeting for the meeting. And a pressure prompted person don't need none of that. But when they show up, they're going to be a beast at it.
Right. They can just do it at that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we do have a comment by Robert Land
Yeah,
Black.
that comment is a lie. You ain't never been orange.
He said he thought he was orange, Jill.
No, boo boo.
Robert.
We don't just put him in the blue, and he's like, "No, I thought I was orange."
No, he's very blue.
Oh,
Very blue.
From the person who tested him.
Yes.
Back
Yeah, but I thought I was
to
orange.
the drawing board.
But maybe you're orange because they say we're one flesh. So maybe
Yes.
that might be, you know.
Natasha says, "Pressure prompted person." That's me. Oh my gosh.
I love it. I love it, Tasha.
Yes, she is. She's like the
And
one.
this is the other thing. I think that when you learn how you're wired, because I just did this study the other day that talked about the difference between your God-given gifts
Mhm.
and your strengths and talents. Those are two different things. And
Yeah.
so sometimes they can mesh together, but your God-given gifts come easy for you.
Yes. I agree.
You just can do it.
Wake
You
up
know,
like
you just can't. But your talents and your strengths may be inherited genetically. It
Mhm.
may be something that you've developed over time and you worked on. So I'm not one who believes that a weakness can never become a strength,
that's good. That's
Mm.
good.
because I believe that God can blow his super on my natural. And
Yeah.
when he does, that makes supernatural. So it may have been a weakness, and now God is using it as a strength.
Yes, always, always. So how do we tie this back up? Because we've been a little selfish. Mom's in the huddle. We like,
And we've been
Well,
pulling from her, Jill.
but I do think that it's so important as we talk about talking to our children. We need to know how to talk to our children. So you need to know what you're working with. So I believe that, of course, as a mother, you need to know how you're wired, but then how to really look at your children and say, this child is a little more sensitive, so I need to do something different than with them than I do with the one who just want to leave me alone, give me what to do. So know what you're working with, because you can't use the same thing with all children.
that's
Yeah,
good.
that's
all.
good,
You just
Dr.
can't.
Sabrina. That's good. And another thing, I don't know, I would add, as a mom, I recently started doing this. I start talking to, me and Jill, we're God's girls. We're not ashamed of it, right? And it sounds like Dr. Sabrina is also God's girl as well. I start talking to Holy Spirit, saying, Holy Spirit, listen, I need you to tell my kid this, just to see if there's a prompting that he's going to drop in them, to where I don't always have to be the one to tell you things, but can he drop? And when I say the Holy Spirit, you talk about the real deal, Holyfield, he will drop something in your kid's spirit and they will do exactly as you talk to the Holy Spirit about your kid, for them to do it. And you didn't even know. You would think you ain't going to get through to them, but some way he does. So for me, I'm learning that to be a nugget. Really confiding in the Holy Spirit about, Lord, can you talk to my kid about this? Because they're not going to receive it from me, because our mama send someone across their path that will do it for me.
That's the whole thing right there, is that
You know?
because earlier I talked about how our children have other influences outside of ourselves.
Yes.
And so making sure that we surround them with people who are like-minded as us, who they may not do it like we do it. However, we know that they're quality people. I have quality people that have been around Marcel. So Marcel has turned out to be a pretty good dude, you know?
Yeah.
But it's important that we do that. And so I didn't get it right every time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing as a parent, because sometimes you'll think it's your fault that your child is going through this or dealing with this. It may not have nothing to do with you.
That's true.
And you making it about you. So don't make it about you, and ask them, how can you be of assistance with them in this area?
I love that, Dr.
And I love that. I mean, I was texting your son at the game, at my son's game in at San Diego. And so I said to him, I'm gonna need you to call. I'm gonna need you to call. I'm gonna need you to call Jonathan. He needs you. I said he needs you in his life. He said, I'm one call away. I'll hit him tonight after the game. Thank you. We love you, Marcel. So you have to your point,
Yeah,
Eric,
you do.
as Holy Spirit,
Yes.
you talk to him, surround him around people
Yeah.
who's influencing him at these particular age stage in their life. And
Yeah.
so you're absolutely correct that there are things that they're going to receive to us, even if we may know their personality. God will send the right people
Yeah.
all the time. And
All
this is one of the other things, and I want the mothers and the parents that are listening to understand that there are some things that you can see in your children, but even with the signs, each child will have different signs. Let me
Yeah.
give you an example. Some children, they got to get their 8 hours in. They gonna sleep 8 hours. They sleeping. So when something is wrong, they not sleeping.
Right.
That's a big clue right there. However, you have some children that don't ever sleep. They nocturnal. They may sleep 4 hours, but then if you find that this child is sleeping all day, then it's something wrong for them. So you must make sure you really know that child, how they're wired, their eating habits, what they do, what is their routine, and when they are out of that routine,
Yeah.
that's when you want to laser like focus in.
Mm,
That's
I
good.
like that. That's good. That is good. Well, Jill, this is some good topics. This is a good topic. I would like to bring it back to really talk about the personality wheel, to talk about
Yes.
because I think that that's just something good that I think everybody want to know about themselves. The people, as true enough as we are, we like to hear, wait a minute, what's wrong with me? There's
Yeah.
something got to be wrong, or what's right with me that I
Come
can
on.
see that I'm like, okay, that makes people
Man.
like to make connections, right?
Yeah.
To why things are happening in their life, or why they are perceived a certain way, or why is it that it's this kind of this person is a person I don't mesh well with, or this person I do, or I can be anyone's friend, and and sometimes people don't understand you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. How you
So,
wired?
yeah, how really are we wired? Which of course we know we can talk with Holy Spirit, he'll reveal to us, but there are people out there that really don't know how they're wired, why they're right, why they're wired the way that they are, why they may offend people, or why they may not offend people and feel like they're unheard, or they're kind of hitting in the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you coming back on another time, Dr. Sabrina, to talk about the personality wheel.
Okay.
That you gave some
It's
good
so funny.
stuff.
Hey, Jill, you
What?
hear her calling it the personality wheel. I'm like,
Whatever. I don't know what it's called, but when you
it's called
Essential
essential
colors.
colors. It's
the
essential colors.
essential colors,
Yes.
and it could be more than just the brief synopsis you gave us,
Oh
because
my God, there's so much to it.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
People
it's a lot to it. Yeah, it's a
tie
lot.
this together. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, we have certainly enjoyed you, Dr. Sabrina. When
Thank you.
we saw the headlines, the games are taking place, just a lot of stuff that is happening. I like what you said earlier today when you talked about it's not just our kids, it's everybody is going through.
Everybody.
Everybody's going
Everybody.
through stuff.
Yeah.
And so we certainly appreciate you taking your time. We know you're a busy woman. My mother-in-law actually wants to talk to you as well. She said, Sabrina Jackson's so busy. But we thank you so much. And I know, Erika, you always close us out with one thing. So I'm gonna pass it back over to you.
Oh yes, Dr. Sabrina, I want to ask you your journey in one word.
My journey in one word: elevation.
Why? Why is that?
Because everything that I did, I started from the bottom. Now I'm here at the top.
Uh-oh.
What?
You have to end us on that note, Dr. Sabrina. Started from the bottom, now I'm
No,
here.
here,
No,
no,
so
here.
I'm sorry.
not
That is
only-
not. That's not. I'm sorry. That's not your theme song, though.
No, my theme song is all I do is win. Win.
No matter what.
Win. No matter what. Because if it looks like I'm losing, I promise you I'm winning.
That's it right there. That's it right there, Dr. Sabrina.
Yeah.
So I I don't allow a situation outside of me, people outside of me, to dictate how I feel inside of me.
Come on.
Because my navigating of the world is an inside job.
Ooh, that's good.
And what I know about the Holy Spirit, I love that you kept leaning to the Holy Spirit. There are 70 functions for the Holy Spirit. 70. And most people can't ask the Holy Spirit to do what the Holy Spirit can do because they don't even know all the functions.
Come on.
And you're gonna have to come back.
How you just gonna drop that on us as we close?
I know, because now you have to try to have us open up some stuff. You said, let me tell you, I'm sorry. You see, me and Jill get beside ourselves when we start hearing good things. Like we get like real antsy, like it just come out. So you said something. You said you know who you are because you built it within the inside of your world. It sounds like to me you've learned, and I've learned this too, and I've actually mastered it. You're delivered from people and what they think about you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. You can't be on TV. You can't be in public's eye and not have thick skin.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. People are always going to have something to say that they like or they dislike. And please have your opinion. Please have it.
Yeah.
You have a right to it.
Yeah.
But I don't have to answer to it.
No, I don't.
I love me. You see my shirt? It says the Self-Love Club.
Okay.
Come on
Because
now.
I love me. You don't love you. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? I love that, Dr. Sabrina. We're going to bring you back, Dr. Sabrina. We have to.
Anytime. She knows it.
Bring you back because you were fantastic.
Amazing. Yes. And you haven't even seen her live and in person. So it's a whole nother ball game.
Wow. Well, Dr. Sabrina, thank you for coming. We thank you for coming. Can we get you to say, I'm in the huddle before you leave?
I'm in the huddle.
Hey, I love it.
I love it.
We love you, Dr. Sabrina. Have a
bye, Bree.
Bye, baby.
Jill.
Ma'am. That was so good.
You talk about
why we always have therapy sessions with moms in the huddle.
You know, God knows what he's doing. Because I promise you, we be saying, look at me, don't even we act like we're gonna do 30 to 45 minutes. That's what we act like. And then we end up going over this hour because of the information is so rich. And then we divert from our questions and we just start casually just really enjoying it does become a therapy session for us both as moms, as parents that are listening to our conversation. We wanted to do, Jill, we're probably going to do this next week, maybe, for our listeners that are listening now. This is going to be huge. We're going to send out a link to where you have a question and you want to ask that question in person, not in person, but on the show where we're going to bring you up. You can pop in and say, hey, I have a question. Next week, we're going to be sending out that link to where you're able to pop in on us and say, hey, I got a question, or I want to join the conversation for a moment.
Yeah, and they're going to join the huddle.
You want to join the huddle? We're going to be sending out that link for you to be able to be a part of what we're doing, because this show isn't just about me and Jill and our perspective and our guests, but we want to hear from you too.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And we also have a special video that we're sending out. We reached out to moms across, some of them were Big Ten, but we have just mentioning before we close out the year, the things that we're thankful for. So that'll be coming out. It was supposed to come out on Thanksgiving. It'll come out next week. But this week.
Okay, and I'm excited to see it. So we're going to join everyone back in the huddle next week. Jill, do we know who we're having? If not, sometime we want y'all to stay on your toes because you don't know what me and Jill going to do. But
we got some special guests coming next week.
We do, and I'm excited about that one. So we'll let you know.
And Erika, look what I just finished.
See, Jill's okay. So let me tell everyone. Jill decided to take a trip over to Europe area, Germany.
Yep.
She brings me back like 8, 9, 10 chocolate bars. Okay. The moment she brought it back, I'm in my car munching down on it, but that's just because she thought about me. That chocolate bar was so good. And it's like a chocolate bar with 4 or 5 different
So good.
macadamia nuts, with dark chocolate, with almond, with pistachio. I'm like, what the Jill just, yeah. So she's showing the wrapper because we
this is my husband said you eating too much chocolate. This right here was the bomb.com. I'm gonna have to go back to Germany to get some more chocolate.
Look at it, eating it all.
Someone told me they sell these at Aldi, so I'm gonna have to check it out.
I've never seen it, but I will say in other countries they may make different things that's a little bit different than over here in America, but it tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Jill. So we're going to see everybody in the huddle next week. Jill, love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining.
All right.